Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, DIY Doris is going to do building this Stratco fence. Stay tuned if you want to see how it's done. I'm going to talk you through it and show you the problems that I had, including a couple of the mistakes I made. Yeah, it was a bit of a git to get up there. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more DIY greatness from a Doris, and hit the like button if you think this video is any good.
So the fence that I got is a straightforward, just a post and rail system from Stratco. I took my measurements into Stratco and the guy in there did all the measurements for me, which they always do, and sold me exactly what I needed. This is the third Stratco fence that I've put up. If you get the Good Neighbour fence, it even comes with a proper glossy instructions booklet on how to do that. They're brilliant. They look really good. They're a little bit more expensive, but well worth it. So with the post and rail system, you are a little bit more on your own, but it's pretty straightforward. All I'm doing here is I'm just getting set up with a string line, getting everything in line with the corner of the house where I'm going to section off and put that bit of fence. And I'm just measuring against the existing side fence, because that's what it's going to butt up to. Measuring back the depth of the posts a little bit, trying to get everything straight. My main aim was to put one post in right flush up next to the fence, and then another one for my gate to close on, and then fix a third post to the side of the house and bolt everything on there. If you are a subscriber to the channel, you'll know that I measure, and then measure everything again. And I just did this twice, top and bottom, for where the top and the bottom of the fence is going to go. I'm just marking out where my gate is going to be, and getting ready to dig the holes. So I've marked out where my two holes are going to go, and this is my post hole digger, my auger. If you've watched my video on shade sales, you'll know that I got this fantastic piece of kit off eBay for about $200 delivered, and it is a lifesaver. Now with Stratco, they will tell you in your local one how deep you need to dig those fence posts in to avoid weather situations and stuff like that. It varies, the depth that you need to dig varies as per the type of soil that's in your local area and the size of the steel that you're actually putting into the ground as well. So your local Stratco will be able to tell you. They told me to dig to a depth of 600mm. Here I am just checking now. You don't actually see me concrete in these fence posts because my friend who helped me wasn't too keen on being a YouTube star. So if you do want to see my method for fixing in those fence posts, hop on over to my installing a shade sail video, because it is exactly the same method as shown in that video. And here's my neighbour popping her head over the fence to offer me a hand, as she often does. All my neighbours are actually really interested in what I'm doing around the place. So hello neighbours, if you're watching on YouTube. Now, as I was digging this hole next to the fence, I ran into a bit of trouble because over the other side of the fence is a concrete driveway, and I was just hitting that straight off the bat. All I did was I moved where I was digging my hole about 10-15 centimetres away from that fence, and it just changed things up a little bit further down the track, which you'll see shortly.
Right, we're into day 2. The concrete has set. We're actually way past day 2 because I was waiting for the gate to come in from Stratco, but different story. All I'm starting off doing is I'm figuring out where I'm going to put my battens. So all I've done is I've got my spirit level, and I've literally, should have probably stuck the GoPro on the fence for this. I made a line, so I measured off with my spirit level, just a level point to here, which I've marked, and then I just stuck a little tech screw in there, which means what I can do is, I'm gonna rest that batten on the tech screw and then get it level at the other end.
And here is Housemates, giving me that much needed second pair of hands. The poor guy always seems to get roped into helping me out. So I'm just getting him to hold the other end on that tech screw that I shoved in earlier, and I'm literally fixing that rail on with tech screws, just two of them, one top, one bottom. If you know about tech screws, you know that they are self-tapping, and you just need a bit of muscle to ram them in. All I'm doing here is measuring where I'm going to cut the tops off these fence posts, because they were a little bit too long. I just kind of guesstimated how high I wanted them to sit off those rails, and I just used a square and then got a hold of my angle grinder and tried to cut them all level, which I'm not that good at.
Can't do anything straight to save my life. Hey! You right.
And now I'm ready to put the metal sheets on. This bit's great. You do kind of really need two people, but it's just like putting the last bits of a jigsaw in. Just making sure it's completely level and straight, popping a couple of tech screws in, and then checking again and on to the next one. Pretty straightforward, very enjoyable. So here for the last panel, I'm just putting it up against where it's going to go and marking out where I'm going to cut some little holes basically so it can fit around those existing fence rails that it's going to butt up against. I'm literally just using a pencil and a measuring tape just to measure out how far, and then a square, and then I get onto my angle grinder and cut it out. Simples. So now that all my fence panels are in place, I need to add in the extra tech screws just to firm it all up. So my little cheat is I just run a string line from one end to the other along where that little rail is that my tech screws are going to go into. So then I don't have to worry about it. I can just bang in those tech screws along that string line, and they should stay fairly straight and they should always go into that little rail. So this is the gate frame. It's expandable, extendable. You just get it to the height and width that you need and then screw it together. It's pretty straightforward. What I will say is it does need a good bit of muscle to get these teeny tiny little self-tapping screws in. This is probably my most hated part of building this fence. If you have a look here, you can see the effort and the little vein popping out the side of my head. There was quite a lot of swearing on this bit. I found it quite difficult, but I did get there in the end. Just quickly, when you're putting this together, it's so straightforward. It comes like stickered up, so you just can't go wrong. It's a bit of a no-brainer, but these are those poxy-ass tiny little screws. Oh, I hated them. They were my enemy.
So, slight problem. Because I ended up, Stratco didn't have the actual gate to go with it because of delivery issues, because of what's happening in the universe right now, which is cool. It's not their fault. It's no one's fault. So I went to Bunnings, bought the gate frame. Slightly different hinges and stuff. So, what I had Dynabolts for this gate frame, and the plan was just drill straight through, Dynabolt. I'll show you what a Dynabolt is. Alright, this is a Dynabolt. This is a shorter one, okay, but basically you just drill the hole, and as you screw it in, it's like a built-in wall plug, but for masonry. Anyway, so the plan was Dynabolts. However, it would have interfered with how this gate frame sits. So I DIY Dorised it, cocked it up a little bit. What I had to do was I ended up having to cut big holes when I wanted to. So I cut a hole, then that weren't going to work because I couldn't get the socket through to fit the Dynabolt because I didn't have a big enough drill bit. Went out, bought a bigger drill bit, still wasn't big enough because I'm DIY Doris, I'm not perfect. So what I did was made little holes with the angle grinder and then bolted it. I'll see if I can show you in here. I've actually bolted with just some masonry screws. So it's going to look a little bit untidy. However, once I get the gate on, I can either patch over it. I'm hoping that the gate might disguise it a little bit. You're a of a thing. Anyway, moving swiftly on. This is DIY. It's not always perfect, but we'll get it done. Where's the...
Now, instead of a string line to get my tech screws in line on the gate, I just used my spirit level and marked it off with a pencil because I only had a few to do.
Come on, see ya. So, this is the fence from the inside. Obviously, we had to get the Bunnings QuickGate frame, which is not the same and it's annoying me. But my longer term plans for this area are going to be to put some sort of screen up here. So, we'll see what happens there. Alright guys, that is the finished product. Let me know your thoughts in the box down below. Obviously, hit a few speed bumps in the road as I was doing it, but it's there, it's up, and I'm super stoked with it. It's going to keep the chucks out, and it means I can work on this area, do what I need to do, and just keep improving. But that's it for today, guys. Thanks very much for sticking with me. And just remember, Team Doris, we can do it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.